Hi, it's Natalie Ledwell here with a quick question. Does it ever really feel like fear and anxiety are running your life? Hey, feeling fear is only human. The problem is, if you don't address it, it can keep you from healing, growing, and evolving. So this is why today I want to share with you 3 effective exercises that can help you to overcome anxiety in a safe and holistic way. Okay, you ready? All right, let's start. Now, the first step is identifying your triggers. Now, for many, anxiety begins with no apparent cause. Most people, over time, recognize different situations and actions that lead to feelings of anxiety and panic. Now, these are called triggers. So do you know what triggers you? So whenever we recognize an anxiety-related thought, feeling, or behavior, it can be very constructive to ask ourselves the following questions. So what are other ways of looking at this situation? Am I looking at the whole picture? Now, what might be a more helpful way of picturing this situation? What negative thoughts might I be using here? What is the evidence that my thoughts are true? And is there an alternative way about thinking about this situation? Have I had any experiences in the past that suggest that this thought might not be completely true all of the time? And can I really predict the future? I mean, is it helpful for me to try? What is a more helpful thing for me to do? Am I exaggerating how bad the result might be? And what's a more realistic outcome? Can I really read people's minds? Now, what else might they be thinking that's not so negative? So if a friend or a loved one were in this situation and had this thought, what advice would I tell them? Or what might it feel like if I acted or if I thought differently? Or when I'm not feeling triggered or feeling this way, do I think about this situation differently? Now, are there any strengths or positives in me or this situation that I might be missing? Or what else might this anxiety be related to? So when you can ask yourself different questions like this, it really helps you to understand what's going on. And now, you may not do it in the moment while you're feeling anxious, and sometimes it's better when you're outside of the situation, where you're feeling calm, where you can actually step outside of the situation, emotionally detach for a moment, and be able to think as the observer or see this situation as the observer, which is the better position to be asking these questions. Now, an affirmation that you could use in these situations is, this is a moment in time and this feeling will pass. Because sometimes we can get caught up in this negative vortex of all these anxiety thoughts. And we know that when we start thinking anxious thoughts, that start to attract more anxious thoughts, then we go into this spiral. So when you can remember an affirmation like, this is a moment in time and this feeling will pass, I know that it really helps. Now, the information that I'm actually sharing with you today is an excerpt from our ebook. It's called Overcoming Fear and Anxiety. And it's a little mini guide to give you some tools and tips on how to be able to move through fear and anxiety in a flowing way. So if you'd like to have a free copy, then just click on the link in the comment box below. Now, the second step that I want to share with you is nurturing your self-worth. Why? Well, because when you're feeling anxious and stressed or drained, it's essential that you take care of yourself. And doing self-care practices that honor your true feelings is a powerful step towards healing. Now, you can ask yourself these 10 questions to get to know yourself better and to really nurture your self-worth. So, what am I not saying that needs to be said? It can be really difficult when you want to say something but you keep bottling it up inside, and sooner or later that's going to explode. Next question is, do I feel unheard or do I feel left out? What fear am I afraid to face? Am I holding on to resentment or guilt? Do I have an abundance mindset? Do my everyday choices bring me long-term fulfillment or simply instant gratification? Do I use situations to grow and evolve, or do I beat myself up? Have I said something gentle and loving to myself in the last hour, or even the last day, or maybe the last week? The next one is, am I appreciative of all the things that I have in my life? And the last one is, what does self-care really mean to me? Now, self-care sometimes means taking a long, deep breath, Sometimes it means just getting away from a situation and really being able to calm yourself. Sometimes it's just shutting down your computer. Sometimes it's a really good cry. And maybe you want to sit in front of a sad movie or a loving movie and just have a really good cathartic cry and get it all out. And other times it's just going deeper into your core and facing your fears. But regardless of what it means for you, make sure to honour yourself today. Now, an affirmation that you can use to actually remind yourself to take care of yourself is that I am worthy of all that the universe has to offer. Now, the reason I love this affirmation is because I'm not worthy is one of the most common deep-seated limiting beliefs that we all have as human beings. Now, something's happened to all of us in our childhood to really have us question our self-worth. So I am worthy of all that the universe has to offer is a great affirmation to use in this situation. Now, the last step, step number 3, is connecting with Source. Now, the thing is, disconnection from our soul is the cause of much of our suffering. It's also the cause of much of our fear. Now, like root energy, when we don't feel supported by something greater than ourselves, we can get very anxious and very stressed out. So although our minds can't understand the realm of existence beyond the physical, there's a part of us that has full awareness of it. And it's this part of us, our soul, which requires connection and trust to the metaphysical connection to source energy. So when we aren't strong in our spiritual connection, we have a sense of anxiety. We feel like we're out of control. We feel like we have no purpose in life. So to trust the flow of life and all that comes with it is to trust the connection of our physical being to our spiritual source and our higher consciousness. Now it's here where we strengthen our sense of purpose, our sense of belonging and safety. So when we are disconnected from Source or God or the universe or the higher power, or whatever you want to call that, we are disconnected from our own divine power. Now when we are connected to our highest sense of self and to our sense of divinity in the spiritual world, we feel safe and fulfilled. We feel part of something bigger than our lives here on earth, and we're no longer alone. So this is why connection is one of the most important elements of living a life free of fear. So when we are connected to our higher power, or God, our source, we are able to have a deeper understanding and wider perspective of life. So here's an exercise that I encourage you to try. So set aside 10 to 15 minutes in silence to connect with God or connect with Source. Now this is similar to a prayer or a meditation, but it's a little bit more interactive. So for the first 5 minutes, allow yourself to sit in absolute quiet. Now you may set a soft alarm or a chime to go off at the end of this short session. Now in this first 5 minutes, I want you to say thank you to Source or to God or your angels or your spirit guides or the universe or to whomever you are connecting to when you connect to that higher consciousness. Now in the gratitude prayer, express thanks for your life, for your health, for your body, for your friends, for your job and for your family. And offer thanks for your skills and your talents, and for hope and for love. So use the mindfulness of gratitude to transmute your fears into pure light energy. So keep this up until the bell chimes at 5 minutes. Then set another bell for the next 5 to 10 minutes. And during this time, ask for guidance during the first 2 to 3 minutes. And then the rest of the time, simply be quiet and listen. That's all. Ask for names, ask for directions, ask for peace, ask for connection, for whatever you feel like you need to be in support. Be specific. Don't bring up anything else besides your guidance and support and what you're looking for. And listen. This is the number one thing. We ask a question and sometimes we don't sit quiet long enough to be able to hear the answer. Now, you may have a piece of paper handy to jot down some of the information and some of the guidance and blessings that you receive. Now, an affirmation that you can do before you start this exercise is, I am love, I am light, I am divine. So I am love, I am light, I am divine. So the reason we ask you to go into gratitude in the first 2 to 3 minutes of this second half of your meditation is because gratitude is the gateway. Gratitude is the gateway to universal love and to God. So make sure you do that first ask your questions, sit quietly long enough to be able to hear the answer. All right, now before I go, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any other tips or exercises that can help our community overcome fear and anxiety? If you do, please share them in the comment box below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Mind Movers YouTube channel for more videos on personal growth and the law of attraction. My name is Natalie Ledwell. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.